Tonight's stories.
Kicking our neighbor.
The real reason.
Feeding my family.
Sterilizing myself.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with...
Brando.
Sam.
SJ. Wow, this is amazing. And it didn't take any practice at all.
That was just...
Just hit the like and subscribe. Just for
Well,
that.
hello, everybody. It's good to see ya.
It's good to be back together again.
So
SJ
we got
here.
SJ in the building.
Dude, we're bringing the band back together.
Yeah. We missed you, SJ.
I miss you guys too.
How you been?
You know, this economy's... Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel you.
Keeps going.
But it keeps going, but I'm here to live another day.
Yes,
Let's just say
you
that.
are.
Let's just say
Yes,
that.
you are.
Wow.
It's hard out here for a pimp. That's all I know.
That's all.
Like, that's all I knew.
That's all I need.
Like, it started and ended there.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think she's trying to tell you that's where it was supposed to
Okay,
end.
sorry,
Like the way
that's my
she kept
bad.
We
saying
were
it.
supposed to say, cut it.
Cut.
Shout out Terrence Howard.
Is that who did it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's run it back.
Hard out here for a pimp.
Boom.
That's what I wanted.
Pimp.
We need to transition this story. So what else are we going to talk about?
The real reason why we're doing this. Like this first story.
Christmas?
Like a true
Yeah.
professional. Really.
Instantly gave me
Pain
something to
is
work
temporary.
with.
But Christmas is forever.
Okay, so this first story is, am I the asshole for telling people the real reason why I skipped my friend's wedding?
No.
You're the asshole for telling them?
The real reason
Oh.
they skipped the wedding.
Ooh. It must be hot tea.
I, 35 female, am still friends with some of the people I went to college with. One of them, Debbie, fake name, 36 female, got married this past January after being engaged for 2 years. Early in the planning process, Debbie had asked my 6-year-old daughter, who was 5 at the time, to be the flower girl. We agreed, and she had the dress sent to us right away. We barely spoke about the subject for a while. Then the wedding was delayed by almost a year. The original date was March 2024. I'm still not sure why. I've heard 3 or 4 different reasons. By the time the actual wedding came around, the flower girl dress did not fit my daughter anymore. We didn't find out until roughly 10 days before the wedding, admittedly my fault, and I texted Debbie right away to ask what I should do about it. Her first reply was, figure it out. I tried to ask where she bought the dress, where I could get a similar one, or whether it would be okay for my daughter to wear a different dress. I basically gave her a list of ways I could fix this and asked her what she preferred. Debbie responded with, I don't have time for this. Stop making your whale daughter my problem.
Oh my God.
What?
You're
Whale?
Mr. Krabs was like, hey, she is a whale.
Obviously, I decided against attending the wedding after that. As far as I'm concerned, we're no longer friends. And to be clear, I know that up until this point, I was not the asshole. I didn't tell anyone about it at first, but our absence was obvious. My friends missed me, and my daughter was supposed to be the only flower girl. Whenever Debbie was asked about it, she apparently just said, we had an argument, but it wasn't a big deal. When our mutual friends and acquaintances asked me, I told them the truth, without sugarcoating it or trying to defend Debbie. I even showed my friends the text message that proved everything. Everyone took my side. About a week ago, Debbie called me. She apologized for what she said about my daughter, but told me I have no idea how stressed she was at the time. She said it wasn't fair for her to lose friends over a mistake she made when she was under so much pressure. Again, I don't think I was in the wrong for skipping the wedding, but I'm wondering whether I took it too far by telling our mutuals why. Am I the asshole?
No.
Nah.
Are you crazy? Of course not.
You feel like you can blame that on being like, I was stressed.
Nobody says stuff like that when you're stressed. That's just your true personality
No, you can
coming out.
say, I see you can say things like that,
But calling someone's daughter a whale is
whale?
like that's a step too far.
You're whale dark. You
that's
went
like-
out of your way to
that's
say
you.
that.
You're like that.
And that's
You're
a
not
text too. That's not even
creative.
like a thought of anger of
That's
being
crazy.
like. But also, it's like kids are growing. What do you mean? She was
Kids
5,
grow
6 years
constantly.
old, and then you try and make it seem like she's like too fat to be in the
Yeah.
dress, as if she wasn't.
When you
like she grew out of the
postponed your
That
dress.
was a text.
By an entire year.
Yeah. Like you have to
Yeah.
think about sending
Your
something
phone
like
even tried
that.
to say she was like witty daughter. She's like, no, delete. Whale. On the phone, like, are you sure? You mean anything else? You're like, no, I mean whale.
And then Siri
Did you
don't
mean to
help
say
putting an emoji
way
in there.
over the age of 5?
Yeah, she's like, no, delete. Whale daughter.
Was the daughter crying? No.
Oh my God. That's actually, no, she's the asshole. She's the asshole. That's so great. A whale.
Everybody's so creative.
You type it and send it and say that about somebody's child to their face, like
Yeah, that's wild.
in a text.
Whale daughter. So
And they
funny.
can just open it up and just read it again. Read.
That's such like a bitchy thing to do. That's so crazy. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. We're not friends anymore. Screw you. I'm out of here. But then the friends are like, why didn't you go? Why would I have any thought to lie for you? I'm going
Right.
to tell you what happened.
Well, just tell the truth. Exactly what happened.
She said something horrible and disgusting about my daughter, and we didn't go. That's what happened. We're not friends anymore.
Yeah, because I think the only way you could maybe be the asshole is if you were like going out of your way to tell people. But if people ask you, that's a different thing to me.
Yeah.
If people's asking me, I'm just going to tell you the truth.
I'm gonna tell you the
I'm not
truth.
going to be spreading like, hey, I'm running around. Hey, she called my daughter a whale.
What need would I have to save your image?
No.
None in
We're
this
not friends
situation.
anymore. It's over. It's
I actually
done.
hate you.
Yeah, we're done.
I would actually curb stomp you for that. That's a curb stompable offense to me. To me, it is.
Oh,
My child?
yeah.
Curb stomping's very strong.
Well, I said what I said.
It's very strong.
Sadie is a very
actually.
strong character.
Yeah,
She has a lot of strong statements.
My child?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna say that about my kid.
And then
Why
try
is
and
that?
make me feel bad for being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry you lost friends. You're the one who said it. I just showed them what you said
You dug your
about
own
a
grave.
child.
And
About
then
a child.
laid in it. God forbid.
And then it's not even like, the original ass of what she was doing, because she bought solutions
Yeah.
to
She
what
was
she was
completely
saying. Like
reasonable.
she was
Yeah.
so reasonable. Like that was so out of pocket for her to respond that way. I don't get that.
Literally, where did you get it from? Could I get her another dress?
Yeah.
Do you like this dress? Like,
I could do alternative dresses.
so accommodating.
Yeah.
And you just,
because I know it's on me, and it's a week before the wedding. I'm sorry about that, but what are we doing here? Like, what's our next moves?
that is so unacceptable. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd kick her. Just like this next door kicked his neighbor. Set it out of order.
I think it's been a while
Yeah,
that
that
we've
was
had. I think because you saw me
wild.
looking at the thing. That was a very. I've never.
I hate you.
I don't want to. I don't know how much I want to say about that, because it's like, hey, I've had some bad transitions in the past.
Nothing to do with that. I just watched it happen.
I like how whenever anything bad happens, we're always like, Sam, like that was Sam, right? He's like,
No, it was the way Sam watched that happen. Why would you let me drown like that,
It
Sam?
was just upsetting.
Why would you take my headphones earlier?
Why would you let me drown like that?
Like the way I was watching yesterday, it's like what I would imagine like in Severance, Gemma having the car crash. That's what it felt like. I was watching the car crash.
Real
that
slow.
Gemma was in.
also, we can't say anymore. I don't know if Sadia told you. She's
I'm 2 episodes
behind.
behind.
Oh.
So don't say much. I mean, that's
Yeah,
obviously
that's
came
how- yeah,
out, but just
we know. Everyone knows about Gemma.
if
We
I
know
wouldn't have
Gemma
known,
in the
I would have
car
let some
crash.
stuff slip. So
Yes, I am 2 episodes behind right now.
You been all right?
I've been working
On Severance Day though.
on Severance Day.
Free SJ, free Josh,
I don't care about us.
free
man.
Gemma,
Free all of us, man.
Free all of them.
free all of them.
all right, so this next story is, am I the asshole for stooping to a new low by kicking our neighbor's garbage bins out of the way whenever she leaves it in front of my driveway?
I would say no. When it comes to like just petty neighborly disputes, like I feel like a lot of people can find themselves at really low lows where they're just like, I can't even believe my character would allow me to stoop to this level.
The only thing is, did you speak with the neighbor before?
Yeah.
Because I'm a person who does not want to talk to any of my neighbors. Yeah. So if I feel like I'm being an asshole if I'm like, I didn't even have a discussion with you. But if you talk to them about this and it keeps happening,
kick that can, girl.
You kick that can, man. Run it over with your car, man. I'm booing that.
Reverse. Forward. Reverse. Forward. Am I the asshole for stooping to a new low by kicking our neighbor's garbage bins out of the way whenever she leaves it in front of our driveway? So context, my new neighbor, 37 female, moved in. She was nice enough at first, but she has a serious problem with how she handles garbage days. I, 34 male, am not sure how the fuck one woman can create so much garbage. She will have her bins out, but it's always overfilling. Many times I've come out of my driveway to go to work to see a pile of spilled over fresh garbage sitting right in front of my driveway after the raccoons got to it.
Oh.
Or all of her bins blocking my car from leaving. I've spoken to her many times about this, and she always says that she does and claims it must be getting moved over by the wind or knocked over by the raccoons.
With a full trash. Okay. The wind moved it, right?
Makes sense.
There is no way in hell all that garbage is getting blown around by the wind. The raccoon part, I believe. But there are locks on the garbage bins for a reason, and if you can't close it because there's too much trash, that's a you problem. Lately, even when I know she's home, she will ignore me at her door. I always back out of my driveway and I will see bins blocking my path. I tolerate moving them out of the way, even though it pisses me the fuck off every morning. What I can't tolerate is when raccoons get into her shit, and as I'm backing out, I see piles and piles of fucking garbage blocking my path. I've had to use a shovel to get it out of the way.
Weekly trash collection.
What's she saying daily?
They're saying daily. I'm like, I don't understand that.
Oh my God.
I've been waking up a bit earlier to move her garbage, and the other day I asked myself, why am I going out of my way to help this stupid idiot? I took a good look at her bins and I just kicked them as hard as I could over to her side, and the garbage spilled over to her driveway instead of mine. I notice now she is slowly learning to take proper care of her garbage, and sometimes she even puts it on the other side of her driveway. She's been a lot better lately, but not perfect. She sometimes now locks the bin hinges and keeps it on the other side of the street. But whenever I catch it in front of my driveway, I will kick it back to her side. I told my wife about it, and she said this is so pathetically low of me. She doesn't have to wake up and deal with someone else's shit, so I don't really expect her to understand. Or maybe I'm just a piece of shit. I don't know. I feel like I've done my part being nice. I don't give a fuck anymore. Am I the asshole? And then there's edits.
No, this is a reasonable crash out. This is a reasonable crash out. Because there's this guy. Oh my God, my freaking neighbor. Same thing with the garbage. He puts it on our side of the street. And it's like right, like just inches away from my car. So when I back out, I always have to like maneuver around it. And then when I get up to leave for work at 5:30 in the morning, bro, I don't want to have to take an extra step to move your freaking trash can from behind my car. And I don't want to do that.
Is it the person across from you? Because I don't understand that. You guys have like yards in between each driveway on the sides.
And I'm like, why are you doing this?
How far is it in the street?
It's far, like basically on our side.
Wow. So it's literally in the middle of the road is what you're telling me?
It's pretty much on our side. He does not put it in front of his driveway. He puts it on our side of the street.
Why would he do that?
Because he's a freaking idiot. I feel like he's like a genuine a-hole.
Doesn't
like,
it take more work to do that?
He walks farther to put it on our side.
Interesting.
And I'm like, you're doing that shit on purpose. Because why are you taking the extra 10 steps, sir? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? So before I would move I would be the better person, wake up those 10 extra minutes and not even 10, but whatever. I had to do extra work.
I had to
do extra work.
It's a big street. And he's
on a journey.
It was like snow and wind.
I had to do extra work to move it just to make sure I wouldn't hit his trash can. No, now I graze it. I don't care anymore.
I'm bumping it.
I'm grazing that trash can. Does it tip over sometimes? Yeah, so what? I don't care. Move your freaking trash can, you bum.
Have you talked to him about it like this person did?
No.
How old are they?
Good and grown. Old enough to know better.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta talk to him one time.
Do I?
Yeah, I feel like.
But I hate him.
Because it might solve it.
Because then you're also so much more valid in being upset when you're like, I literally told you not to put this over here. If I see this over here again, I'm kicking it.
And you have such a valid reason because he's doing something that doesn't even make sense. Why are you taking it so far away from him?
You're so right.
Like, hey, can you not do this?
I guess so.
And then when he says, I don't care, then you just run over that.
No, you take it back to his driveway, then hit it.
Then bump it over.
That's for real. That's the big brain move.
Okay.
And you also take Caleb's car and back that and
back-
just in case anything happens to anybody's car.
And if it
it's
leaves a
gonna
little
be-
crack in the can,
Who gives a damn?
Then you take the
Bars.
trash can and throw it through his front window.
and then you take a crowbar and you smash his passenger window.
Then you spray paint all over his door. Trash can.
And then you take his camera that's watching the driveway and you break into that. And then when he's like, what happened here? You're like, I think it was raccoons.
Raccoons, dog.
Those
They're
raccoons,
They're a
man.
menace. They're a menace out here.
they're a gang.
Wow, thanks,
I
guys.
do feel the frustration though because it's these kind of situations where there is no real thing you can do other than talk to them because it's not like you can call the cops for this.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's like petty.
Yeah, it's so
like
petty.
it's not big
There's
enough for
nothing
them
you
to
do,
deal
but
with.
It will get under your. Especially if this is happening every day. That's gonna eat under
It
your
wears
skin.
at you, wears down at you, dude.
And especially if they don't, like you talk to them about it and it seems like they don't get it.
They're
Yeah.
like, I don't get what you're saying. I could see this being the basis of like a Dateline murder episode. they're like, what happened? The cops are like, what happened? And they're like, the trash was in my way every day and I couldn't do anything. They're like, trash can.
And one day I was mowing and I saw them outside. I just took the mower blade and I just
their
lifted it up.
And they stood there for some reason. They're just like, what is happening? They're like, just running into the
And then I threw it in the trash.
Because it's just like that story we had with the husband and the jars thing. It's like such a little thing that just over time you're like, what is happening? I feel crazy.
It does make you go crazy.
This story reminds me of all the things that I would hear. Like I would see like TikTok where they're like posting their Ring cameras of their neighbor doing the same thing, or like running over their mailbox every single day. And it's like you have this evidence, but at the same time, it's like they're not going to do anything. Like you're saying, it's not big enough to get the police involved because what are they going to say? Man, please put your garbage on your side of the driveway. But yeah, you kind of have to become more clever than they are annoying in those situations, especially after the communication.
Yeah.
When you're like, I've done my part. You're just not listening anymore.
I honestly think it's worse when that person like genuinely just does not care and they're just gonna do it anyway. Oh, that's the one. It's like you are the scum of the earth.
You're scum.
I feel like in those situations, when they go low, you have to go lower because then it only makes them stop to be like, okay, like I'll move because you're annoying me now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like to go lower would be to wait till she takes it out.
And then like stand at the edge of your driveway.
No, not stand at the edge. Wait till she takes it out, goes back in, put it in her driveway and open it so that the raccoons really can get in.
Or wait till she takes it out and leaves. Then before the trash people come, you take it back up to the house. And then you leave it open or you dump it over. But it's like the trash people are like, I can't get to it. I'm not going to go get it.
Dang. I feel like that's like max level crash out. At that point, you're like, okay.
You have to lose all decorum for these types of situations.
Yeah.
I think you do. I think you do.
You really do. Because people take advantage of that.
People do.
So what do you guys think about the wife? Because that's what the edits are about.
Oh, about the wife?
I think because I think it's true. You really aren't going to get it unless you're living it.
Yeah.
Because like it does sound like super superficial on the surface. It does.
But
Then dealing
again,
with it,
we're hearing the story and we're furious. So why isn't the wife feeling that?
that's true.
Yeah.
We're not even, we don't know this guy and we're furious. Why isn't the wife just like, nah?
I don't know. I feel like I'm more on Sadia's side, where it's just one of those situations where they don't take it serious until they're living it. I mean, he's telling us every single detail. I don't know how much he's telling the wife. I do think your point is valid of like, well, she's hearing what you're telling us, right?
She's probably hearing him. Well, maybe she's hearing him grumble every. It's like, man, this trash can. She's like, oh my, the trash again.
She's like, you kicked it?
It's just trash, Jim.
It's Jim. Jim, it's trash.
It's getting thrown away.
Just move around it, Jim.
But it's the everyday part.
Yeah.
Because we only have to worry about our trash once a week.
Yeah.
If this was happening every day,
How is she producing this much trash?
what is she
To
doing?
the point where it's overflowing.
every day?
Unclosable?
And actually, every day, are they taking away your trash every day? What kind of city is it? How are they so rich that they're taking out your trash every day?
What taxes are y'all paying?
That's crazy.
I feel
Maybe
like
it's like a townhome type. But every day.
There's no trash system that's picking up your trash every day. That
Well-
would be astronomical.
Maybe he just didn't mean to say that, because I'm like, that doesn't even make sense for the city wise to be like, we're gonna come every single day to collect it. It's like, no, we're just gonna give you a few extra bins if you've really truly produced that much trash.
Yeah.
Everybody just gets 2 bins. All right, we'll see you in a week.
It was so funny because when I was a GM, we had trash service that was coming every day, 6 days a week. And it was so expensive.
Because you had a dumpster?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so incredibly. We were in the red for profits for like a couple of months. And they were like raining down on me like, you need to figure out how you're going to, change your controllable, all this stuff. And I'm looking at the books and I'm looking at like all these, and I'm like, that damn trash service.
Trash.
We need to cut it down to like 4 days
The
a
trash
week.
is they're killing us. The trash.
It was like $2,000 a week
my gosh.
Wow.
for them to get that for 6 days a week.
Actually, I am mad at the city's trash thing because we went to the automated trash.
Yeah.
I was happy for the first couple of weeks because I loved seeing that thing pick it up and put it in. It was
I
really
like
cool.
the matching trash cans.
I do too, but I'm sad that you have to like get an extra one now.
What?
What do you mean?
Well, if it doesn't close, you have to have another trash can to do both. Before you can just have as many trash cans you want, they just dump them manually. Because I'm a person, I don't make trash like this. So I usually take out my trash like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I don't make enough trash to do it. But if I forget that second week, then the third week I'm like, oh. My trash is like a little bit full, and I'm like, so if I forget that week, I didn't go a month, and I'm like, how do I do this? I'm not paying for another trash can, so I'm like, I just kind of put them up on it, and then I'm like looking out the window, looking at them, and you see the truck come,
and then he like looks at you in the
and
window.
The guy's like angrily throws the top of the trash bag in, and then they grab it in there. I'm like, I'm sorry, but we didn't have this problem before. But I guess it's better for them, probably.
Yeah.
All right, so edit. Hey guys, I see a lot of hate coming towards my wife, and while I appreciate everyone's advice on what to do about her, this is just the way we both speak to each other, and we have been speaking to each other ever since we met. Maybe it's unhealthy, but I think we both understand there's a level of sarcasm when we speak this way, and it's when she doesn't speak like this with me and uses my full name that has me concerned. And then, top comment. Previous place I lived, the trash collectors had a right to not even pick up the containers when the lids couldn't close. It was a requirement due to the mechanical nature of the arm/clamp picking up the bin to upend in the truck. That was residential. At my office, we got fines if the bin's lid wouldn't close. Not the asshole. That's super annoying and frustrating and should not be your problem, and she clearly wasn't getting the hint.
They must live somewhere with an HOA. Fines? Dang.
Never. That's one place you'll never catch me. A place with an HOA.
Oh,
I'll find a different place to live.
yeah. Good.
You're gonna tell me I have to maintain my lawn to a certain degree? I don't even know if I want a lawn. All right, might be putting some clover out there.
Your lawn's always beautiful, though. So I think you could.
It does. Who is doing it?
Well, me sometimes, but my
Maddie-
mom really
Maddie
cares
mows
about the
my
lawn.
dude.
Well, mom mows a lot too.
Oh, she
though.
mows too? I
Yeah,
thought you
Front
just
and
mowed.
back?
yeah.
Dang, girl.
They have a gorgeous
She cares
lawn.
about
I'm
her
like,
lawn.
What do you guys have, Joysha?
I don't know, but there's been something that's been taking over the backyard for like ever since we moved in, so 98. And he planted the guy that she bought it
This
from
is a battle.
planted like a patch of like thick grass and it's been slowly taking over the yard. It's probably at like 30% now of the backyard.
Wow.
And mom gets pissed at it every time she sees it because in the fall, the grass that he planted that's been taking over, it like turns yellow, but the other one turns like brownish green. And so she sees it and she's like,
there goes that patch.
and I'm like, we need to cut it out.
There goes that patch.
There that patch goes. There it grows again.
I can see Mama G with like a bandana and like like army paint. She's just looking at her. She's like, we're gonna get that.
She complains about it every year. And I'm like, let's just cut it out and start over again. And then she changes the subject. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, she's just like, she just likes to
She's
feel
upset
angry
about it, but
yeah.
it's like, it's probably more work than just leaving it be. Am I the asshole for feeding my family a fish dinner while I eat steak and potatoes?
How did that come to be?
Fish dinner. Wow.
I'm 3 months pregnant, and almost every day I've been craving steak and sour cream baked potatoes. I never really cared for steak. I'm more of a chicken fingers and fries girly.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing the baby must have loved steak in its past life because that's literally all I crave when I don't even care for it. Today I made my family baked pizza spaghetti with fried catfish and
Baked pizza spaghetti.
I don't know what that's about.
They're just
But spaghetti and
smashing words
fish.
together.
Let me look that. What?
Spaghetti and fish though.
Yeah. Catfish.
Catfish and spaghetti. Ooh.
Staple.
Actually, that's what I need to get in my next grocery run.
They cooked.
I need to get some catfish, man.
We're having catfish tonight.
Okay, this is actually kind of pissing me off. This pizza spaghetti.
What is pizza spaghetti? This
She said, I'm hungry and you're
This
talking
is
about pizza
actually
spaghetti.
pissing me
just
off.
pepperoni on top.
The fuck is this?
I want to throw up, dude.
That's a casserole.
That's a
This made me
casserole.
mad, bro.
That's a
Tried to
casserole.
trick me again
What
with a
is
casserole.
that?
Something was wrong. That's a
Something
casserole.
I'm like, something don't feel right about this. And you show a casserole. I'm like, oh.
That does not look good.
I like how we all just, that's a casserole.
That's a casserole.
So I wonder if they put marinara sauce instead of like just
Maybe like some Italian seasoning, but it's spaghetti. It's
No,
already
it's
got Italian
casserole.
seasonings.
And then they put mozzarella cheese and oh, it's a casserole.
A salad with chopped deli meat, and dinner rolls. I, of course, am making the same dish I've been eating for almost every day these last few months. I pretty much make 2 separate meals each night for my cravings. Last night, after I served the kids and was getting ready to make my fiance's plate, he expressed that he wanted steak and potatoes like me. Mind you, he was aware of the menu because I have my meals planned the night before. I told him I only had that one steak for me, and he said, well, we can share. I politely told him that I will need to eat all of my food since I'm feeding for 2, and this is all I have for the night, knowing I'll most likely still be hungry while you guys have a meal you can come back for seconds. I'm now, in his words, a selfish woman using pregnancy as an excuse to be selfish.
You're done, bro.
I asked what's different about today and today than all the other days when I've literally been eating the same shit almost every day with no complaints. And he said nothing but shook his head and said, it's the principal, bae, and just walked away. We have barely spoken since. Just a dry good morning and goodbyes. Am I the asshole?
It's the principal, bae.
It's the principal, bae.
That
it's the
would
principal.
send me to the freaking moon if I was pregnant. If some idiot came up to me and said, it's the principal, bae, what the hell are you talking about?
What are you talking about, bro?
What the hell are you talking about?
What's going on, bro?
She does add here at the end, she says, maybe if he expressed that he wanted the same thing as me, I would have prepared for it, but he literally always eats what I make. I didn't know I had to be a mind reader.
And you already knew what you were going to eat beforehand?
The night before.
And then you want to come to me in the 12th hour talking about, I want a steak. Can we share it? First of all, bro, if she has a filet, you think I'm going to cut that freaking filet in half and give you the other half? Me being pregnant?
I'm
You
pregnant.
freaking idiot. Is that not stupid?
No, that
Yeah.
is stupid.
That is stupid.
I'm clutching my pearls right now.
Just how do men just conceptualize the most idiotic?
I feel like some people don't realize how good they have it, and then they start acting up and acting like a fool.
Yeah.
Like him already not having to worry about dinner ever. She
Yeah.
makes her own thing every single time. So she already knows the day before, hey, I'll make you guys whatever you want. I'm literally making your plate for you. And then he
Yeah.
comes up to her and he's like, I want what you got.
Puts in his request.
Yeah.
You should have done that last night, because she's not even saying I wouldn't. She's not even saying like, don't ask me that. Like, I'll
Right.
make what I want to make for you guys or whatever. She's like, you could just ask me later. You know, like I
Right.
don't eat steak and potatoes. Why are you asking me now for steak and potatoes? Like, you have a ton of food over there, and now you want half of what I have, and I don't have enough for seconds.
And I think it's a good, like, pregnancy is a time where I'm like, you can get where things don't have to be fair. When you're pregnant, I'm like, hey, my baby's having my baby.
I'm literally growing a human right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, you're going to get benefits from that. And that's not fair. I know I can't get pregnant, but I'm like, you're literally having our child. Whatever you want, really, it's going to happen. Like, it's just a time period where it doesn't have to be fair in that situation.
Yeah.
So him even trying to say it's not fair, I'm like, it's two people I'm making this for. And this baby wants that filet. So we gonna have it.
And also, yeah, it's not fair. You're not the one. We don't get to choose in the relationship who wants to have the baby and who
Right.
doesn't. At least in a relationship with a man and a woman.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna have to birth this baby in a little bit, so I'm getting these like 8-9 months of benefits before I have to go through that pain.
Yeah.
It might be easy, but it might not be easy.
Why you just sit there and hold my hand?
Babe, are you okay? It's the principal, babe.
It's the
Just keep
principal,
pushing.
babe.
Keep pushing.
It's the principal. You got this, babe. Shut the
Yeah, because to piggyback off that, you have to think, like, you know what I mean? You have to think to do that, like to say all you just said.
Yeah.
And
What do you mean?
so like you're going in there with the mindset, my pregnant wife made food that I think I want. I have to go ask for half of it, knowing what she's going through.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I can't even fathom doing that.
And what the hell was the principal?
I don't know.
We should
There's no
share. It's like,
principle.
no, I made my own food. I
Sharing is
made you
caring.
food.
The principle.
Is the principal, babe. If I asked you for some, you should give me some.
That's
No.
audacious.
But I think Maddie was right about, like, some people get so in the habit of, like, this
Yeah.
is just like what our life is. So I
Yeah.
just expect it. I don't realize actually all the things she's doing every day. Like, when you're married to someone, you just get so used to it. Like, this is actually really nice. She's cooking us dinner every single day.
This is what she does.
And
Makes
she's
a separate
pregnant.
meal, and she's pregnant all
Cooking
while
dinner.
she's pregnant, doing all this, and you just take it for granted. Sometimes you just gotta remind yourself, like, hey, this is crazy. What's happening?
Yeah.
This is good.
But I feel like the saying "it's the principal bay" is
Yeah.
where you cross the line.
That just
like,
sent me over the edge.
I don't think he knew what to say. That seemed like a dumb thing to say.
That's like one of those lines where it's like, can you calm down? Like when somebody's already upset, that's like him being like, it's the principal, bae. It's the same thing of like, do you just want my blood to boil?
Yeah.
Or,
He just sounds so stupid.
you know what? You're not eating tonight. You just eat all the fish.
Actually, the only thing is, maybe he didn't know what baked pizza spaghetti was. And then he looked at it, he's like, that's a casserole.
But also,
You tricked me. I
if the
thought it was
picture that
spaghetti.
SJ found is accurate to what she's even talking about.
I hope to
If
God
it
that
is, I'm
that
like-
is
I don't excuse what he said because it's still crazy what he said, but that shouldn't be eaten.
that shouldn't be eaten.
That shouldn't be eaten.
At that point, hey, there's catfish. There's
still
salad.
catfish and
There's still
salad.
catfish.
And that's why when I'm doing, I'm like, thanks, babe, for everything. And then I'm doing the baked pizza.
Oh no, I can make my plate today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you don't
No,
need,
please go sit down. Please
You
go sit down.
Sit down.
The kids come up. Give me your plate. I'm gonna give you some extra spaghetti.
Like, what is this? A
Pizza
casserole?
spaghetti.
Shut up. It's baked pizza spaghetti. You like it.
You're gonna get more tonight.
casseroles here.
You get extra.
We're all doing seconds tonight.
You've been a good boy.
Okay, so top comment. Not the asshole. You're already making 2 separate meals every single night to satisfy your cravings while still feeding the entire family. That alone is more than enough. The fact that this man had a whole ass meal in front of him, one that you took the time to plan and cook, and yet decided to sulk and guilt trip you because he suddenly wanted what was on your plate is ridiculous.
Yeah.
If the principle is so important to him, then he can get his ass in the kitchen and cook his own damn
Preach.
steak next time.
Yeah.
That's the principle.
You're growing a whole human inside of you. You don't have time to be dealing with a grown man acting like a pouty toddler who didn't get the same Happy Meal toy.
That part. Ooh, that part. Clock it. She chewed on that. Yeah.
Got to that rim on
Kind of
that.
hit hard.
That was
When you're
Yeah.
with your sibling and you have a Happy Meal and your sibling is the good toy, and there's no more
that's
anger I've
infuriating.
ever felt than seeing my sister with a Happy Meal toy that I wanted.
The thing is, they won't even share.
They won't even share, and they knew you wanted it too because you talked about it. On the way there, you're talking about like, I can't wait to get this one.
I hope I get
I
it.
hope I get this. I hope
one.
I get this.
And they know, and then they're like, and they
Remember
look
the
so
You
booklet
didn't
too?
get it. Oh.
I guess.
Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to just let me watch a movie? You know that thing when you come home and tell each other about your day? My girlfriend has this habit of only doing it when I'm trying to pay attention to something else. I come home, she doesn't talk about anything. We do the chores that need doing. I try and start conversations while doing them, and she barely responds. We make dinner together in complete silence. If I try to initiate conversation, she just gives me like one-word answers or, huh? Yeah, uh-huh. Again, she says nothing about her day. We sit down and have dinner and eat in complete silence. Again,
Jeez, this relationship feels terrible.
This sucks.
she barely responds when I try and start a conversation. And then after dinner, we sit down to relax a bit. I wait to see if she wants to talk about anything, but she just starts scrolling through her phone. So then I start watching a movie or a show. And then as soon as it starts, suddenly she starts telling me all about her day. I'm kind of the person who doesn't put on a movie just for background noise. If I'm watching a movie, then I'm watching it and that's it. I'm trying to pay attention to the movie. And she's rambling about what happened at work, what she needs from the supermarket, and what her dad said on the phone, and what she wants to do tomorrow, what happened with her sister, and on and on and on. And then she gets mad when I only give her one-word replies like she gives me. I've asked her before why doesn't she like talking during dinner, but then she gets angry and never explained. So yesterday we just started watching a movie, and like usual, she starts talking and not paying any attention, and then she starts complaining that the movie doesn't make any sense and she's not understanding the story. I told her it would make sense if she were paying attention, and she got mad and said I only care about movies and don't care about what she has to say. I tried again to tell her that I always try and start conversations with her, but she never engages and only starts talking after I've already started doing something else. She said I never talk about anything interesting. So I told her work stories aren't interesting either. And now she's mad and giving me the silent treatment. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to let me watch a movie instead of talking through it?
I don't think so.
They don't sound compatible.
Yeah.
If I go home and I can't talk and we're just sitting in silence during dinner, during the eating part,
Yeah.
this is like the majority relationship is talking to each other about things. And if we can't just talk about during the downtimes,
Yeah.
why are we dating? That's weird. That's like a lot of your relationship.
You know what? It's it's so funny. This makes me think about me and Claudia because literally same kind of thing. But for some reason, like we go throughout the whole day talking. But for some reason, the second I go to open up a freaking book to read, suddenly there's like a 30-minute story that needs to be told like right there. And I'm like,
You're like,
I literally flipped 2 pages.
I know how you feel, Sadia.
And I'm like, oh my God. I'm trying to read. Now, mind you, I'm at a good part of the book, right? Trying to see what happens next. And then she goes to tell me this like 45-minute story about her coworkers. And I'm like, I really want to listen. And I do. And I literally be like, babe, I really care about what you have to tell me. But this chick is about to die in the story and I can feel it. Let me read that and then I'll come back to you. Oh my God. It's every time I go to read a book, I don't know what motivates her. It's every time. It's every time.
I don't know.
The fact that I know he's waiting at the TV with the remote and it's on pause and he's like just waiting for her to be like,
To be done.
okay, so she's good.
Play.
yeah.
So today at work,
Yeah,
okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You hear that Netflix doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
And she's like, let's go. That
Perfect.
means
Green
go.
light.
Green light.
But I also wonder what's
It is weird though.
What's up with her that he literally tried to confront it, and she's like,
And she was
why don't you want to
defensive
talk
about
during
it.
dinner?
Yeah.
And she's like, gets mad.
Gets mad.
That I don't get.
Because that's what I was going to get on him before, like in the beginning of the story, I was going to get on him because I was like, I thought he was waiting for her to bring up stuff and he wasn't starting it. But if he's trying and she's giving him nothing, then I'm like, yeah, you're not the asshole on this. Mm-hmm. You're trying to communicate with her and she's giving you one word answers. Damn. Yeah, if you're trying and she's only giving one word answers, then what else can you do?
There's nothing to do.
I would blow up and be like, come on.
You can't talk to a wall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So people in the comments were thinking it was malicious because they're you literally don't talk any other time. And then, I don't understand why she's being so defensive about it. Being like,
that's such a valid question.
When I was talking to you, you were saying boring stuff, and he was like, okay, well, do you think I really want to hear about your coworkers? Like, as if that's so riveting.
Yeah.
But, okay, so not the asshole. Sounds like you give her plenty of chances to tell you all about everything, and she ignores them, only to start talking when you start doing something on your own. Mm-hmm. If she's as consistent with this behavior as you say, it sounds like she might be doing it with malice. It has to be really frustrating, especially after you asked her why she does it and didn't get an answer. Maybe she's trying to keep your attention on her instead of a movie or whatever else you're watching. She's also trying to shift the blame back on you by saying you don't talk about anything interesting. That's an insult, by the way. When you said the same thing about her topics, she's now mad and not talking to you at all. In other words, she's mad at you because you told her the same thing about her that she said about you. It does sound like something she's doing on purpose, which makes it even more annoying. Can you maybe try wearing headphones to watch your movie? I'm thinking it might be easier to ignore her if you're wearing them. The bottom line here, though, is that neither of you are finding the other's topics of choice very interesting or engaging. You might want to put some thought into that if you're considering making her an even larger part of your life. Right. People need to be at least somewhat interested in what their partner is doing and saying, or there is not much point in being together at all.
Such a low bar.
Yeah.
Being somewhat interested in what you're like, yeah.
They sound like they hate each other.
I don't even think we had to say that about people you're dating. Like, hey, I'm vaguely interested in what you say or do.
Yeah. So, weird. It's weird that
it is weird.
She's only doing that. Like eating dinner in silence, making dinner in silence. You just hear like Is it good? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So how was your day?
Not bad.
That's good.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for sterilizing myself against my partner's wishes?
Your body, your choice.
Your body, your choice. Right? That's crazy.
And I guess that's that. So we
that's
move on.
That.
Yeah.
Don't even read the story. We're good.
We're done.
Case closed.
Judge Judy.
Dun, 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 dun.
Or Judy Justice now.
Is
Judy
it?
Justice?
Yeah.
What?
She's still going?
She's still going. She got like a new... This chick making bank. You think she ever gonna
Good
stop?
for her.
Am I the asshole for sterilizing myself against my partner's wishes? Okay, Reddit, I need some unbiased, outside opinions because I truly feel like I'm going crazy dealing with this situation. I, 28 female, and my partner, 28 male, have 2 children together and have been married for 8 years. For those 8 years, I've either been on birth control when we were preventing pregnancy or tracking my cycle when we were trying to conceive. Adding this just to give the community the context that reproductive responsibility has always fallen on my shoulders. Recently, we discussed the possibility of being done with children since we have our second and the family really feels complete. My new partner is in agreement that a 3rd child is off the table for him as well. So with that, I said, great, I can bring up sterilization for him or I. The reason I wanted this is because I've had every form of birth control before, and none of them ever really left me feeling 100% okay. So I wanted to be done with birth control completely since we both agreed we're done. It's been about 3 months since our talk about more children, so I brought up either getting a vasectomy for him or me getting a salpingectomy, removing my fallopian tubes. What I thought would be a productive conversation completely blew up. He outright refused a vasectomy, and when I was okay with that and I said I'd happily get a salpingectomy, he completely flipped his shit on me. screaming at me about how he forbids it from happening and how he won't allow me to damage myself like that.
Allow?
I ended up just leaving the conversation and headed to get our kids from school. But on the way, I ended up calling my gynecologist to schedule a consultation for the salpingectomy after making sure I won't need my spouse's approval. So Reddit, am I the asshole if I go through with the sterilization against my partner's wishes?
No.
No. Why?
Salpingectomy.
I don't. Why is he
Removal of
so
fallopian tubes?
Let me see if I'm saying it right.
against it to begin with? That's no. You're not.
Yeah, it's the forbidding for me.
Yeah.
It's the forbidding.
Freaking weirdo.
for me.
What?
Yeah. Because I can express like concern for the risk if there's a risk involved.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, maybe we think about this, but I can't say I forbid you from doing
Yeah.
it.
You're not doing it.
Yeah.
You crazy?
Yeah.
That's
I'm not liking that.
But yeah, no, it's weird. The whole thing of I forbid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not running for me.
Also because she's being like, hey, so you could do it or I could do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
yeah.
You don't want to vasectomy? Fine. I'll do it to me.
and it has no effect over
Yeah.
you. And you don't want kids, right? So
Right. We're
What's
agreeing
good.
big?
on that.
What's the big issue?
yeah.
And if you really don't want me to get it, how come you didn't volunteer yourself?
I think we kind of know the answer, but we're kind of pushing around to be like,
Yeah.
well, he's
Like,
not like, I want to control over my wife's body,
Yeah.
right?
Those are the questions that we need.
Her
We're
body,
like-
my choice.
Oh, no. It seems like it is that way, though.
Yeah.
This update here. Due to the support and advice I found on here, I managed to get the confidence and level headspace needed to try to have another conversation with my partner. After getting our children to their school/daycare for the day, I went to our local coffee shop to pick us up each a cup, and I figured it can either be seen as a show of care or a peace offering. Once I got home, he was sitting at our island doom scrolling through TikTok, which I think we've all been there. I decided standing across from him would be a bit of a better choice, so I gave us our respective cups and I asked if I could get his attention for a conversation. Well, what I hoped would have been a productive conversation turned unproductive really quickly as he sighed with an eye roll and turned off his phone. I started off by asking the big question of if he wanted any more children. I even suggested he doesn't think about what I said on the subject and just tell me his feelings about more children. With that, he answered a firm no and said, as he said before, a third child is and will always be off the table. I then asked him if he had any fears or concerns about surgeries/medical procedures. He said no to this question as well. So I asked him if he understood the procedure and what it entailed, and he said yes, he does, which is why he doesn't want me to get it done. In his words, I wouldn't be a woman if I got any part of my reproductive organs, what makes me a woman, removed. And he refused to allow me down that path. I then followed up by asking about him getting a vasectomy, and he said it's pretty much the same thing for men, and he won't let anyone take away his manhood. The final question I managed to ask was, did he just expect me to be on birth control forever? And this man looked me in my face and said, it works so well for me already,
Okay.
so why change things up? Guys, as I stated in my previous post, I am miserable and in debilitating pain with birth control. At the end of this, I just grabbed my coffee and went to sit on our porch, just trying to wrap my head around the conversation, while he sits in the house acting like nothing is wrong and we're just having a normal day off together. And that's where we're at. The first one was under about 21 hours ago, and this one was 8 hours ago.
Oh my God. I already know what I want to say, so I don't even need to say it.
You gotta say it.
Go ahead and say it.
I think you gotta say it.
Maybe the new people don't know what you got to say.
Maybe they're unaware.
They don't know about SJ.
It's this type of stuff that's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. It works. Oh my God. I don't even want to wind myself up by answering this
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just didn't know that. What was his name? Ramsey? From Love is Blind.
What's the, oh, yeah.
He's married now.
Oh.
Because this must be him in the story.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he had the same thoughts about,
This is insane.
you just take care of the birth control. I'm like, I don't need to do anything on my end. Like,
He's like,
it's-
I'm not wearing a condom.
I'm not wearing a condom.
Like, it's got to feel good for me too, baby.
Yeah.
It's the principle.
That's such a Ramsey thing to say.
Yeah, no, I think this is pretty disgusting work, especially because it hasn't been resolved.
Nasty work.
Nasty work, babes.
Is funny to me.
Because, again, the thing that we were talking about earlier, he really genuinely feels like he has a say over what you want to do with your body. And if you take out your reproductive organs so that you guys can have safe and consensual sex together that you both can enjoy, and just also you enjoy living your life because it's affecting you in your day-to-day life.
Right.
That's a problem for him. And I feel like this is like the worst case scenario when you're with someone, you build a life with them, and then something big like this that comes up, and it shouldn't be big, but then it is.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, who did I marry?
Just
because
fundamental differences.
Because it's like, it's frustrating, I feel like, when you come across people like this too, because it's, in my opinion, I'm thinking, what do you not understand about what I just said to you?
Yeah.
Like, you have these two options, and yet you created a new third option, which is, no, you're not doing what you want with your body.
Because
and also,
you're not a woman anymore. Somehow.
And then also, okay, well, what do you expect me to do? Just be on birth control forever? Yeah.
Yeah.
It works. You just literally don't look at the fact that it's working now. You weren't looking at the side effects. You weren't looking at how it affected me. Maybe I wasn't vocal with you, but I'm telling you now, it didn't work.
Right.
It was hurting me. It was partially working, but there were side effects. And I want to stop now. We don't need birth control anymore. We can just take it out. We don't need to wait. We don't need to, you know.
This is where it loses me, right? Your partner is sharing with you like, hey, this is something we both agree that we don't want kids anymore.
Right.
We agree with that front to back. That's fine. To not have kids anymore, there has to be some form of birth control. You are completely against getting a vasectomy because it, quote, takes away your manhood. Mm-hmm. Using that same logic, if I'm using birth control, that takes away my womanhood in a way. If we're using that, same logic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're okay with me sacrificing. You're okay. You're okay with me being the person that has to deal with all this. Going through all the side effects that come with taking birth control. I've heard some women say, like, after I got off birth control, I was literally I never went back to being the same person I was before I even had birth control.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see the informational pamphlets on birth control front. It's just like this huge thing.
Yeah.
You're okay with me going through that. And you're just like, well, yeah, you're just going to have to keep doing it. Yeah.
And him not understanding that or being compassionate about that is kind of crazy. It's very crazy. This is one of these things though, where it would completely, it's the whole Reddit thing where it's like, get a divorce. It would make me rethink my husband in general of like, okay, well, I don't even think I want to have sex with you ever. Like, we're done. like
literally, she has legitimate health concerns, things that are affecting her health. And for him, it's, I don't want to lose my manhood.
Yeah.
Well, also, it doesn't make sense.
That does not make any sense.
Actually, that's the thing. There's like the religious belief about like, and I think it's usually Catholics, but I think a lot of religions are the same about like contraceptives in general. Mm-hmm. No one should be on contraceptives. You should naturally let what happens. And I think it's just like, at least Catholicism, I know for sure, like they want bigger families and they don't want, they're like, in your bedroom, like you shouldn't be using condoms, you shouldn't be on birth control, you shouldn't be doing any of that stuff. And that seems like the logic that he's going with.
Yeah.
A little bit of like, well, men are men. Men have produced sperm and women have eggs and they carry babies. Like that's our roles and that's what your job. And when you have that belief system, you don't think about like real life repercussions of like what that entails.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of Catholics would have the issue of like, we can't afford to have more kids. Yeah. But they're like, well, the Pope said we can't use condoms, we can't do anything. So I guess we just figure it out. Because it doesn't apply to real life. It's like, no, this is the doctrine. This is the rule. Y'all figure out what y'all gonna do with it, but y'all can't do it. And that's what he's kind of dictate to her,
Yeah.
not realizing this is a real life situation that we have to deal with the repercussions, the consequences of making it like this. And if I don't want to be on birth control anymore, I'm coming up with solutions because I live in the real world.
Right.
Not your imaginary world where you think that women are only women because of this and men are men because of this. That's your world that we live in. I'm living over here in the real world.
That
it's so dumb for him to say, like, she's clearly asking questions. Do you want to have kids?
No.
Absolutely not. Do you want to have a vasectomy? No, it'll make me less a man.
Yeah.
Then I have another solution that has nothing to do with you. And he's like, no, I can't because my belief system of
That's
this.
not applicable, actually.
Yeah.
That option's
Because
not
of how I
applicable.
view women
Because
and
how I view
objectifying women. And they don't
and
have
how
a
you-
say over their body.
How you view men too. Like you think that men and women are tied to their reproductive organs. Where you're like, some people do believe like you're only a woman because you have this part and this part.
Because you can birth a baby.
Yeah. I'm like, there's many women who can't have children. They're not women.
I don't know this person. This person sounds ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
I feel bad for OP. Just finding out that, whether it's misogynistic or just because it's also tied to him as well.
No, I think there's definitely misogyny
Yeah.
completely
Absolutely.
in this. Because even talking about, if I'm having this conversation with my partner, even though I don't think it wouldn't get to the second conversation, but even asking about do we want to have kids or do you want to have kids? I would never say it's out of the question. I would say I don't want to have kids. What do you want? Like I wouldn't. There's not a thing like it's out of the like. It's done. I'm like we have to make this decision together. So I'm not saying it's out of the question. I'm like I can tell you my thing. Now what do you want? We come to consensus. So the way he's talking, there's seeming to be misogyny involved with how absolute it's my word. It's either my way or the highway
And
kind of
the lack of
situation.
consideration
Yeah.
throughout the whole process. That's crazy. Because like you were saying, no kids. I won't do this. I won't do that. You won't do that. So what's the option? You have to take it. That's the only way. And not even considering any of the options or talking her through it.
Yep.
Yeah, this story disgusts me.
Just the sick feelings of control over her body, her life, their kids, everything. I think it's just frustrating because I feel like there's definitely, and I think she realizes this too. I'm not saying she doesn't realize this, but there's definitely bigger things to think about now than just getting I forget what the word was, but getting your fallopian tubes removed.
Yeah.
So, top comment. He genuinely does not care for you, your health, or your sanity. Chronic pain is not nothing. I'm sorry you're experiencing this, but please make sure you're safeguarding your own health before attempting to take his viewpoint. This is why people need to understand that gender identity isn't a scary topic laced with hatred. People just want to keep pushing the gender roles our grandparents had. This man genuinely thinks that him getting a vasectomy makes him less of a man and that his wife shouldn't have a QOL procedure. I could see a sliver of possibility of him having a point if both of y'all wanted kids, but you guys do not. Not the asshole, and definitely recommend getting the procedure anyways. You shouldn't be suffering on pills and hormones for him to be comfortable in your own skin.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's
That
another thing we
was
kept
summed up
missing too
perfectly.
is like the fact of like at the end of the day, it's not even necessarily just kids. It's like this woman is in pain
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Like hearing your partner's in pain, that doesn't make you be like, okay, yeah, whatever,
Right.
whatever.
Literally. Do you not have a heart? If my partner is in pain,
Just
you
every
think
day.
you think I'm gonna make them keep doing what's causing them pain?
Right.
You unempathetic creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
A re-evaluation needs to be had because
Most people would care about their partners immediately coming and saying something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
even if it is more of a we come to a consensus, the fact that it affects your body more depending on who gets the procedure or whatever, it's like, yes, you've literally been in pain for the past, maybe 8 years, maybe more. That needs to be taken in consideration now in this moment
Right.
and not fighting over dumb stuff. But
Yeah, because the lack of consideration, it sucks. If you came to him and like, hey, just like every day you're going to have a deep ache in your balls. It's going to be a painful ache that's just always there constantly. And you could get a procedure to not have that anymore. would you do it? And you're like, yeah, of course I would. That's essentially what I'm saying. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get away from that pain.
But knowing him, he would probably say no because it would make me less of a man.
I would just deal with it. Then I'm like, then you gotta get. Then he's an idiot. Then he's actually dumb.
Yeah,
he's actually stupid.
Which I doubt, because men in pain.
Well, that's I do.
But he has to feel it to be like, okay,
handle that well. So I think in the end he probably would end up getting it, because the way y'all handle pain versus the way a woman handles pain, very different.
That's true.
Very different.
SJ, thanks for being on. We appreciate you being
SJ.
on.
Of course, guys.
Sam and Brandon have beanies on, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Tonight's stories.
Surprise.
+1 with updates.
Straight.
Proposal. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brando.
Sam.
Hannah.
Hannah.
Hannah Banana.
Hannah Banana
Well.
Santana.
Banana Montana.
So welcome to the show, everybody. My sister, Hannah.
We got a sibling.
We have a
on
sister
the-
reveal.
Round of applause.
I commented on a story once, but that was pretty much about it.
For everyone in the audience, every time Maddie tells us a story about a bad sibling, this
about
is
Hannah.
it. This is the one. She's on the podcast.
So welcome to the...
finally.
No, I'm just kidding. That's,
Thank you. I'm honored, actually. Thank you.
yeah. So how did you get yourself on here, Hannah?
Well, it was my birthday last Sunday, and
Happy belated birthday.
belated.
Thank you. And I don't remember how I agreed to doing this, but here I am.
Yeah. So I
That's
thought I was
applause.
talking to
That's for sure. We have to clap for that.
I thought I was talking to a sober Hannah, but apparently not.
It was a long day.
Just hit the like and subscribe. Just for
I've
that.
seen videos of like podcasts, and I don't think they use plastic cups. Maybe like
Wow, okay.
if it's plastic, it's like a solo cup, you know?
I
Okay.
think that was a surprise to Maddie. Like this next.
Like
Like
this
this
next,
first
oh, this first
story.
story. It's you.
Okay, I see how they did that.
It's you.
It was a surprise to me because I just thought, let me not make a mess. Let me not potentially break some glass around here. So I thought, let's go for the plastic cups. It all matches. What does it matter, right? It's water, right? But then Hannah starts to say some
yeah.
stuff.
Because she was
And
like,
then-
I was on this other podcast the other day and they had glass. We're like, okay.
We're like, okay.
This podcast queen.
Chill
over
out,
here.
hot shot.
I mean, I had options in the cupboard. I picked the
Yeah.
right one.
Okay.
I am going to be demanding glass from now on.
I know that's
Just so you know.
okay. So I saw him with his coworker at 2 a.m. in our shower as I came home from a trip early to surprise him. He has no idea. It's 6 a.m. I'm drunk and I don't know what to do next.
Whoa.
Relationship
That's
advice.
a lot.
It's a
I think
really
you know
long
what
title.
to do.
So I, female 27, saw him, male 32, with his coworker at 2 a.m. in our shower as I came home from a trip early to surprise him. He has no idea. It's 6 a.m. I'm drunk and I don't know what to do next. I had taken a trip for a couple of days and thought since I had the next couple of days off, including Valentine's Day, I decided to come home and surprise him. God, this is so hard to type. I'm shaking right now and I can barely see. I bought takeout and beers to surprise him, and before bringing things in, I wanted to sneak up on him and, I don't know, yell surprise or something. I unlocked the front door, quietly opened it, and went to find him. I walked up our stairs and heard noises coming from the bathroom showers. Our door was open, and oh my God, on the fucking door, I see panties hanging on the doorknob. It took everything in me to not scream. I walked to the door, and in the mirror, behind our see-through curtains, I see him pinning her up against the wall like he does to me.
Yeah, you did.
Graphic.
I never knew the saying was real when you see red. I had seen fucking red. I wanted to kill them both. I wanted to do something. I thought about slapping their naked bodies so hard that I would leave marks. We've been together for 4 years. I didn't say anything. Was that a mistake? God, this is cliche. I didn't cry. He didn't deserve my tears. I didn't even let them know I was there. I just pulled out my phone, quickly took a photo, and walked out. I was so angry during the drive that I almost crashed. I pulled over, and just like that, I ended up at this hotel I'm currently at, checked in. I had sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall for what felt like hours, and I started to drink. One sip turned into a bottle, and the numb feeling makes everything easier. He texted me once saying, "What happened? Did your plane get delayed?" Like everything was normal. Like he wasn't just inside another woman. This is graphic.
Yeah.
It was.
I didn't reply. I should be planning my next move, but I can't. I can barely think. The betrayal, the humiliation, the anger is all consuming me. I don't know if I'm more hurt by the cheating or by how easy it was for him to text and wonder where I am. We're not married, thank God. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to or not hit him with this fucking humiliation. And then there's edits.
Yeah, I think I would just wait to say something because I'd want to make sure I had all my thoughts together instead of reacting out of emotion, because sometimes I don't think people deserve to experience how you're feeling. Like you messed it up. It is what it is. Like she could react it in the moment, and like she said, but she chose not to. So
Yeah.
Would you think you would want to humiliate, or would you be like, I'm done?
I don't think I would want to humiliate because I feel like it would embarrass me too.
Oh, yeah.
I get what you're saying. I feel like it's not worth him seeing like her reaction to it. At least silence for now until you figure out what you're going to say would be the best like situation, or, you know, the best response in a way until you're like, you send the picture and you're like, we're done.
I don't know
No
if you guys
response.
know this, but that happened recently to some famous people. And the
Ooh.
guy exposed the wife's cheater all over social media as of like 2 days ago. Like,
Who was it?
I think he's a commentator, but I think his name was like Steven Smith Jr. or something. I think he used to play football, but now he's,
Oh,
yeah. So he was, I don't know the couple
Yeah.
themselves. I think the girl, the wife or whatever, works for, I'm going to assume ESPN or some sports outlet, but the husband found out that the wife was cheating and was able to see all like the text threads and stuff and screenshot it and sent it to like everybody. Like,
wow.
like I think I read it on TMZ or something this morning. Exactly.
Was she cheating with another celebrity?
Well, whoever Steven Smith is.
Oh, I thought that was her
He's a
husband.
sports commentator.
Yeah.
Oh,
But then he like ended up calling Steven Smith and was like, "Hey, bro." And I don't know if Steven Smith knew who he was, but he was like, "You're basically effing my wife." And his response was, "I'm sorry." That was it.
Do you guys know who this is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to play in the NFL. Now
Okay.
He was,
Yeah. Actually.
yeah, so.
Yeah,
That's
so, and he's married.
interesting.
He's married too, with I think kids also, which makes it sucky because then too, like, I don't know if this couple doesn't have kids, but I mean they have family. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want them to be like, "Yeah, that was my uncle." That, yep, that's him.
He does like an NFL thing where he does jobs in the NFL. Is that the same guy? He looks
him.
like him.
But yeah, no, like the texts were extremely graphic about like what he was doing to said wife, and I think that's kind of, I wouldn't want to put that out if it was my significant other.
I totally get that, in like, especially in famous situations. For me, if I get cheated on, I'm not embarrassed by it. I still think it's them.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm like, even though I'm still not the person that's going to put it on social media, like, look at what my wife did and like post pictures and stuff. I think I'm very much you cheated on me. I'm sending the picture to you. Done.
Yeah.
And if we're boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't have to talk to you ever again.
Right.
And if we're married, then we'll figure out that rest. But yeah, I don't think I don't want to put my energy into something where you obviously don't care about me at all, that you were fully inside someone in our shower.
Yep.
You pressed them like you pressed me against the
Yeah, that
wall?
was
That's
wild.
Crazy.
That
I
was
used to
wild.
be pressed like that against the wall.
Okay, Brandon, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What they were saying, it is just, it's easier because I feel as though if you're gonna have like a volatile reaction, it should have been in that moment. So anything you do after that, it's like kind of
It's kind of got to be strategic. Like, this is
Yeah.
what it's going to be, and I know how to plan after that.
yeah.
Okay, so edit one of multiple edits. I texted him saying my flight was delayed and there was no flights till Valentine's Day. God, I bet he was just happier than ever. So I've done some thinking, and I want to get it so he watches me walk away and he can't do anything about it. I've already texted my brother, my godsend of a brother, to let my parents know and that I'm coming home. He lives in town, so he's got a friend to drive my car while we go to my parents. They live about 5 hours away. I'm in no shape to drive. As for the situation at hand, I'm going to text him that on Valentine's Day, I want him to meet me at a restaurant, and I'm going to get some type of metal trinket that holds photos, put it in there and have him open it. Or I don't know, once he sees it, I'm going to take my ring off and just walk out without a word. That's all I've got for now. And then there's some more edits.
Besides going out with the bang.
Yeah.
So she's got a plan.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, if I was going to do the same thing, it would be, let's do it right. Bam.
Yeah.
We're over.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
It's done.
That's powerful.
I especially like that she did it in public, because in private that
Well,
would
she's
be,
about to do
She's
it in
about
public.
to.
she's about to, like, her plan is to do it in public.
Yeah.
Because in the privacy of
Well, and I think they can try and win you back when you're like together by yourselves versus like in public, like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many other people around you that you don't have to worry about trying to be persuaded into being back with somebody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And girls, stop drinking. Be sober during it. I don't think alcohol is going to help in this situation.
So I got you a gift.
Baby, you're right.
No, you open it first. Open yours first. Yeah.
You're fully drunk right now.
I'm not.
Okay.
Open it. I thought about this whole situation, and from looking at the comments and guidance from my brother and his friend, and even who I am as a person, this man seriously hurt me. I'm so relieved this didn't happen while we were married, or worse, starting a family. I want kids. I want that life, but absolutely not with a pencil dick like this dickwad.
Oh, dang.
Not a pencil wiener.
I made an appointment to get checked for STIs, and
No.
that was not so fun. I can't wait to see my parents. My dad is so angry. I decided the text I sent will be my last text, and that kiss before I left on my trip will be the last time he sees me. Hopefully, I can't say we won't see each other, but when we do, I'll look up and feel and be a lot better than I was. I'll update again, but for right now, I need more time. I need my family. Thanks again.
You know, I do like I'm just not even going to text or respond back.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Sam was saying of like sending the picture and then moving on.
Like, just let their brain destroy itself. Like, what is she doing? How come she's not texting me back?
Yeah.
Like, that curiosity.
Especially if you know you did something wrong, because then you'll actually be like, well,
Yeah.
does she know about this and this and this?
I
But
totally
anyway,
agree.
Go ahead.
Never mind. It's not shall we say.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's hard to keep it all straight in my head. Like this
This
next
next
story.
story.
You said first?
I did. We make mistakes, and sometimes we make mistakes on other people's transition, and sometimes other people benefit from that. Because usually when I make the transition, I'll accidentally applause myself and then press a little
Almost
button, and then they
cried.
blame it on
I
me.
almost did
And I'm
cry.
like, I'm just pressing buttons.
What's that sound even mean?
It's never happened.
Oh my
the
God,
transition
that's
sound.
great. I have adrenaline just coursing through my veins right now. That was
Because
crazy.
he got a transition?
Because he got an applause and then a
Yeah,
transition.
because every time Maddie transitions,
Not
she
every
seems
time.
to get an applause and then a transition, but it never happens for anybody else. And she says it's an accident.
Sam likes to
Very rarely.
but it has happened, and it just happened again.
I would say 99% of the time it's Maddie.
I can agree with 95%. Okay, so this next story is my male husband, just came out as straight.
My male husband is.
So he was once, well, he is gay.
Also, they're in a gay marriage.
Yep.
But
And
now
he's
the boo came
he's
out like, I like girls. I'm just playing.
I'd be pissed. Somehow it's like acceptable if you're straight. You're like, actually, I'm gay. I just didn't know how to say it.
Yeah.
If
The
you're
other-
gay and you're like, actually, I'm like, you could have. There's no
There was no
condemnation.
pressure to come
You
out
don't have
as
to be
gay.
I would be pissed. I'm swinging if you come out as straight.
Okay, so my 27 male husband, 27 male, just came out as straight. So we've been married for like 3 years and dated for about 2. In total, 5 years of a gay relationship. We're 2 men, have always been 2 men, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. My husband and I had a rather healthy relationship for the most part. Of course, we had minor arguments every now and then, but what relationship is perfect? In the end, we always resolved them, and our affection would continue as normal. This is kind of why I'm really confused by what's going on with us. Why now? I'm a Christian. I know a lot of people don't like the idea of that, but gay Christians do exist. My husband was agnostic. Not necessarily an atheist, just wasn't completely on board with any religion. And that's fine. I would have supported him if he found peace in literally anything. He didn't need to become a Christian. And honestly, as selfish as this sounds, I wish he didn't. I know this makes me sound like a terrible person, but he changed so drastically afterwards, and I miss the man he used to be. It was a slow start. He asked me about verses from the Bible. We went to church. He even fasted for Lent. Christmas this year was much more than just presents, and I was happy that I had this piece of me to share with him now. I was raised religious and struggled with my identity. If it weren't for other queer Christians, I would have left Christianity. I was glad that I still had these things we could bond over, but it kept ramping up. All of a sudden, he goes to church more than I do, which is perfectly fine, and is always carrying a Bible with him, and will randomly cite a verse when we're having political discussions. I've noticed his views have started to shift towards the right as well, and recently retweeted something saying, "Your body, my choice." You're a twink. Women's reproductive rights don't concern you in the slightest? It kept ramping up. He started agreeing with the whole LGB minus the T crowd and started spewing harmful rhetoric about drag queens as if we aren't friends with a bunch of them. When I told him that drag queens are much less likely to harm children than some pastors, he lost his shit saying I was a heathen and that his friends were right. This is the part that caught my attention. What friends? I asked him what he meant by that, and he started backtracking, saying he was tired and we should go to bed. I was tired and arguing didn't seem like it'd be any good right now, so I put a pin in it and we got ready for bed. Our room has a bathroom connected, and usually we keep the door open. He takes a shower and makes sure to lock it, which was weird, but I didn't say anything about it. If he wants to set this boundary down, that's fine, but he could at least communicate it, you know? The next day is a Sunday, and he's already out of bed, and I'm assuming at church. I get up and got ready, but once I arrived, I realized he wasn't there. That confused me, so after service, I called him asking where he was, and he tells me he's in church. But I told him I was here too, and I didn't see him. He clarifies that he means this other, I'm not going to say the denomination because I don't want to cause any arguments, church. This was news to me, especially because he never brought it up and still carried our Bible. I told him to send the address and I'll pick him up so we can get brunch, but he tells me that he doesn't want his friends seeing me. That hurt. I asked him if we could at least meet up, and he said he'll see me at home. After a few hours, he finally comes home. He says we need to talk, and I agreed. I wanted to ask him why he didn't want his friends seeing me, and as I opened my mouth to ask the question, he said, "I'm straight." I stared at him for a bit, and then he continued, explaining that his church helped him realize he wasn't going to see the kingdom of God if he continued living in sin, and that he needed to leave me as soon as possible. He told them about the pastor comment I made last night, and they said that I was the devil trying to lure him away from Christ. He started repeating a lot of the same rhetoric I heard from other Christians growing up, and it really upset me. He even said that I could be saved and that I already had the traditionally masculine look and that I just needed to steer away from homosexuality. I feel like I'm in an alternate reality right now. I'm being told by the love of my life that I'm the devil and I need to return to Christ because I shut down his homophobic rhetoric. My gay husband is being homophobic. I'm sorry, but not once in the 5 years we've been together did he realize that he wasn't suddenly straight. It just doesn't work like that. It's not like we're in some other universe where COMFET, which is an abbreviation for compulsory heterosexuality, which means feeling pressured to act straight even if you don't identify as heterosexual. It's not like we're in some other universe where COMFET is a thing, right? I told him that he needed to leave and that we could discuss arrangements afterwards. I still want him, I love him, but I have no idea how he could look at me with a straight face and tell me all of this. He started arguing, saying that he didn't want to leave and that we could just be friends, so I told him that I wouldn't be friends with a self-hating queer for the life of me. He packed a bag and left. His location shows he's at some random's house I've never been to, but I assume that's one of the churchgoers he's friends with. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do from here. Did I seriously just lose my husband? I don't understand how this could happen. What can I do now? I miss him already.
That is a wild story, dude.
I wonder how he feels knowing that he brought his husband to church and church was the one that made him not his husband.
Yeah. Especially because I feel like in a lot of ways, church can make you feel like a person who like hates that part of you. Like like his husband is the opposite of that, of being somebody who is gay, but also finding a relationship in, you know, spirituality, but specifically with God, and not hating himself and being able to work from there, but still have, you know, religion being a part of him. But then his husband caught the other part of religion where they just talk about, you know, this is what you have to look like. And if you don't look like that, you're going to hell, and just like scaring him into changing who he is and hating who he is, when at the end of the day, that's who he is.
And the second thing, I think it's unfortunately what a lot of gay Christians go through. OP got to do it early. Like, you deal with that, like you're in church and people are like, it's wrong what you're doing, it's evil, blah, blah, blah. And you're a kid and you're like growing up in it. And a lot of them are like, I'll pretend to be straight, or I'll pretend, I just won't talk about it, I just won't bring it up. And then as they get older, they get the mindset of like, you know what? God loves me regardless. It doesn't matter. And they can have what OP has, like, yeah, I'm gay and I'm also Christian and it's fine. But now his husband's like getting it from the start. He's like starting basically at the kid who like, this is bad, this is evil, I can't do this, and wanting to run away from it. I feel like OP knowing what it is could maybe help find a potential way to work the husband through it if he's open to it. But it's just an awful, sucky situation.
Yeah, go ahead.
I literally can't say. I don't know.
I was just going to say, I feel like the best thing OP can do, even if he would be able to help him through that, I think the best thing OP can do is sadly leave the relationship, not really have any contact with him. Because I think his last line of the whole thing of like, I will not be friends with like a self-hating queer person, because I feel like that's just not a good thing to have around, is somebody who is what you are, but hates what you are. And even though, you know, he could help him, that's not what OP's husband wants.
Yeah.
You know, so he's clearly taking advice from other people. And so I think the best thing for OP to do would just be to separate yourself from that and not be around somebody who, even if you were to be friends with them, he would just constantly be talking about how you're going to hell all the time and how you should really change who you are. And if you know, have that relationship with God and you're comfortable with yourself, I think you should just live life how you want to live your life. And you shouldn't let somebody's like fear of their relationship of their God steer you away from who God is to you and who you have a relationship with God as.
Right.
And, you know, trying to push you back into the closet.
Right.
It's
They're like, oh, you could be straight. Saying you could pull off straight is crazy.
You have a really masculine build, actually, so I don't think people would really get it.
Like how strong you are.
Like you have like a really, like those shoulders are really round and firm.
Yeah.
Like they're very toned. I don't know. Like, do you dance or? I mean,
bro.
But yeah, no, I think that's a situation where it's all him personally, and you really can't do anything. So you kind of just got to let yourself go, or else his toxicity is going to spew onto you, and he's going to try and hurt you and change how you think about yourself. And you've probably done a lot of healing, because obviously you are like you're a gay Christian. There's not a lot of people out here who are Christians and gay. So I think, you know, if finding peace with that, and then dating a man who hates himself and who wants to be anything but that, I don't think it's good to have around. Yeah.
It could undo the work you've been doing so far.
So, top comment, dude, the best thing you can do is to let him go. This is a really tough situation, but it's past your control. Do yourself a favor and let him leave. He's not worth it. You deserve somebody who loves you for you.
Saying that he's like a lost cause, he's not worth it.
Yeah.
Because me growing up in the church, there's a lot of things that the church teaches as a kid that I'm like, as an adult, I'm like, I do not like that for my life, and I have to unchange that. I don't actually believe that, and I don't think that's true. And I think I've made decisions out of what I learned in church where I'm like, ooh, I did not like how I treated that person because of what I learned in church or what it did for my life. I don't think, because I'm working through it, I'm like, I know that you're not lost causes. Like, you can learn from those kind of things without throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But I do agree that it's not your responsibility to like fix this guy or like help him love himself again. But I don't think he's a lost cause. This is like, he's literally got blasted with all this doctrine, Christian doctrine. And he's like taking it all in. He's like, it must be bad. They're all saying it. I think years are going to pass. He's like, I still like men.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to like conflate those two things. I like men and I do love God. How am I feeling that both at the same time? And that comes over time, I think.
Yeah.
That reminded me of this song, actually. Just recently came across. It's called, it's by PJ Morton, called Religion. And it's talking about how it's pretty much a story about how like this person did him wrong. He's like, I don't think I like your religion. And he said, you blame your God when it's all your fault. And I think that's another thing we have to kind of consider, like him lashing out like that. Well, it's like he is getting all that doctrine. At the same time, the way his actions were, like towards OP and the way OP's action are towards him. Oh, we're about to run out of time.
You guys 48 seconds
Yeah,
left.
you can do
Okay.
it. Sing the entire song too.
And you blame? No. You know, it's human to human connection at the end of the day too. So saying all that hurtful things back and forth to each other without like kind of thinking about how emotionally that's going to impact somebody. Y'all built a whole life together and you're just going to turn around and tell me you're straight after 4 years, right? Of being
plus
together.
dating before
5
that.
years, yeah.
And it's like you didn't even consider what I could be feeling after you said that. And then he's like, we'll talk about it, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't be chill about this. We literally built a life together. So I could understand where OP's coming from, where he's like, he's a lost cause because that hurts. It was out of hurt.
Oh,
From
yeah.
That big of a break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that does suck. Yeah, I spent my life with you. Regardless, if you really, in some crazy way where you're like, yeah, you actually are straight and you were confused for this entire time. We were married.
Yeah.
And this is how you tell me? This is how, like, we're just done? We live together, we're married?
Well, he could have been coached on that too by his new friends. Like, well, I guess they maybe didn't know that he was gay too.
This is how you break up with your
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm straight.
Bye.
This next story is, am I the asshole for not letting my friends use my backyard for their wedding because they don't want me to bring a +1?
You're going to use my backyard, but I can't bring a +1.
Yeah, one person. My entire backyard, I can have one person.
They're like, it's actually too tight in the venue. You're like, I know the venue and it's not too tight.
It's my backyard. What you gonna do?
I
Tell me
know
no?
the dynamics of my backyard.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the situation. Last summer, I bought my grandparents' house. This house was the hangout spot for my friends and I throughout our childhood. This includes my friend Dave. The house has a sizable amount of land, which includes a lake and a gazebo.
Oh, wow.
I was supposed to buy the house with my now ex-girlfriend, Leslie, but going through the process of getting approved to buy, I found out that she had massive amounts of credit card and personal debt that she hid from me throughout our 4 years together. I decided to break up as a result. This was 6 months ago. I met Leslie because Dave's long-term girlfriend, Kim, is Leslie's cousin. Dave and Kim are engaged and set to get married in April. When I was buying the house, they asked if they could have the ceremony at the gazebo, which I agreed to. In December, I started dating again. Leslie has not taken this well at all. She thinks we're going to get back together and have tried multiple times to make that happen. I told her in no uncertain terms that isn't happening. Dave and Kim have asked me to not bring a +1 to the wedding for Leslie's sake. I've told them that this request is ridiculous. The wedding is happening at my house using my land, and I'm not allowed to bring a date because of my crazy ex. If that is the case, they need to find a new venue for the wedding. They're pissed about this given the short time frame of when the wedding is supposed to happen, so we're at an impasse. Am I the asshole? And then there's edits and an update.
I'm sticking with no. It's my backyard.
It's
You have
my
a gazebo
backyard.
and a lake back there, and I couldn't put one 5'5" person back there with me.
You could even invite her to your house at the same time at the wedding. Not technically to the wedding. She's just like at the house and then she
She
walks
can watch
in the
from
backyard.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I was just here.
Whoopsie.
That was
I didn't know you
today?
guys were getting married today. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I do have a nice dress. Yeah. Well, because I think it's interesting. What point is the level of relationship that I can tell someone to not bring a +1?
Never.
Because they're cousins. If it was like your sister or something like that kind of relationship, I'm like, maybe sibling. There's no level of you can say, I want to protect my
The
person.
moment they break up, I think at that point, if you want to start having rules like that for the person who's helping you out, you need to look for a different venue.
Yeah.
I think
say,
you
like-
never should have asked him for such a crazy, for having crazy terms for him when he's doing you the favor.
Right.
I would be like, if I can't bring a +1, then you're paying me for my backyard. Because I guarantee he's giving it to him for free.
Oh, 100%.
Or considerably less than what
Yeah.
it's worth.
Yeah.
Charge market price.
That's actually good.
So I think maybe if it's if one of the family members owned it, like Kim or her cousin Leslie, if they owned it and they're like, you can still come, but I mean, that's a crazy ass too.
Yeah.
Like you can come, but you can't bring anybody. But it's different to be like, well, you don't own any of this
Right.
negotiation. You're just invited. You can come or not, but we don't have room for you as a +1. But
And I would change the rule. I'm like, actually, only people with credit scores above 500 can come. So she can't come now.
Hold on,
You
though,
know what
because
I'm
that's
saying?
kind of low.
Well, I don't know what
Should
Leslie
we
got.
set
I
our
feel
standards
like
a little bit higher?
I'm trying to get Leslie out.
550.
Whatever Leslie got, I'm trying to go 1 point above.
because you don't want to knock somebody out. They're like, oh, I didn't
They're
know.
like, I'm just spending my money, but I love
did
you
not
guys.
know that.
They're like, sorry, you can't come.
Grandma.
We're
You know,
checking
say,
out
end up
at the door.
End up not letting your mom allowed to come. Like, dang, mom, I really wanted you there.
She's like, I put you through school. That's why I'm in debt.
Sucks to suck.
It sucks to suck, Mom. We made the rules.
When you can hit higher than 500, Mom, maybe we'll start talking.
Oh, we're talking his 501. Pay one bill right now.
Pay a single bill, Mom.
Just pay it right now.
Please. We've been begging you. Yeah, I do think it's ridiculous. It's definitely ridiculous.
Edit. I have seen a few things brought up a number of times in the comments, so I will quickly address them here. One, I'm fully aware of the liability issues, which is why I purchased and they reimbursed me for a special event insurance policy, which will 100% cover for any damages, claims, injuries, etc. to any of the property or the persons up to $2 million. It is one of the first things we did after I agreed to have the event in my home. 2, the wedding will have a maximum, if everyone comes, of 75 guests, 5 catering staff, and 5 security staff. The security is because this is an open area that anyone walking past can access. The house has hosted events twice this size, and logistically, it has been fine. On the property are 2 cottages, one with 1 bathroom and one with 2 bathrooms. The only portion of my house that will not be locked during the wedding is the finished basement. The basement has 2 bathrooms. 3, every person who is single, i.e. not in an established relationship, receives an invitation with a +1, including me and Leslie. This talk came after I sent in my return card and indicated I was bringing a +1. Now they are saying they do not want me to have the +1 because Leslie blew up about it and they're afraid of a blow up at the wedding. 4, Leslie indicated she intends to bring someone on her card. I don't know if she will actually bring someone. And then there's an update.
I was going to say, is it because Leslie's not, she just doesn't want to see him with somebody else?
Yeah, well, even more unfair. Leslie's
She
bringing
brings
somebody.
Right.
somebody. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're
To
still
his
upset
own
about it?
backyard. That is wild.
How big is this backyard?
I know.
Listen,
They
2
had a pond
cottages.
and a
Damn it,
gazebo or
this is
something like that.
crazy.
And the insurance plan. I was like, good Lord.
What does your grandpa do?
What did he do?
Wow.
I wonder who Leslie's bringing.
Update. So I met with Dave this morning. We talked for almost 2 hours about everything. I laid it out that I thought he was at best a shitty friend. I went through our long history.
That's crazy.
I went through our long history of various things over the years that has me questioning our friendship. That was the bulk of the conversation. We then turned to the breakup with Leslie and the shit show of the last 6 months. Throughout the last 6 months, despite Leslie's craziness, I have bent over backwards to try and accommodate her feelings. She has shown up to my house in the middle of the night. I did not go for a restraining order. When I go out, I do not go to places I know that her and her family like to go to. She has implied to her family and mutual friends at various times that I cheated and or that I took advantage of her financially, neither of which are true at all. I have held my tongue to not embarrass her about these things in front of her friends and family. Dave knows all that and yet is demanding once again that I put Leslie's feelings before my own. I said you and everyone needs to stop coddling her like she's a fucking child. Dave concedes that Leslie has been crazy and ridiculous since the breakup, but he says she feels she did not get the closure after the relationship. She wants to have an evening where she can talk to you to get that closure. He also told me that Leslie has been very vigilant about paying off her debt and paid off almost $10,000 of the credit card debt. She wants to talk to me about her progress to see if that might cause me to change my mind. It will not. I asked him, so do you expect me to go to the wedding and talk to her? Because I have blocked her everywhere else. Date or not, I do not plan to say a single mumbling word to her. He said, I fully expect she would lose it if y'all do not talk at the wedding. I told him, if that's the case, then for the good of the property, I can't have Leslie come. If she's so unstable that I need to be coerced into a conversation with her, she's too unsafe to be a guest in any capacity in my home. So I have told him, based on what he has told me, Leslie cannot come to my house or my land. I am willing to still have the wedding at my place, but I cannot trust Leslie won't do something given what you're telling me. Dave lost it at this point. He said, fuck you and your shit. I don't need it. So I said, then the wedding is off. He left. So that's the state of things.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
Who was
Leslie is his ex. Oh,
I know, but I'm like, girl, you're essentially causing all this drama, I feel like, to get somebody's wedding venue basically canceled.
I'm surprised they're coddling her so much.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't just be like, okay, Leslie's kind of being too much. Like, can we just get married, babe?
Courthouse.
So she has one of those personalities that takes over and people just like want to appease her. She sounds like one of those kind of people. And his cousin can't say no to her.
I guess. Maybe not.
But also OP, like, he didn't make the situation better by leading with like, hey, you're a shitty friend and here's all the ways you've been a shitty friend to me. Now let's talk about this thing. Like, that wasn't a good starting point for this conversation. I feel like it was only going to end in a bad way because of how it started.
I guess
Unless
so.
he wanted it to be that way.
Yeah, I was going
It
to
seems
say.
like he did want it to be that way. And I'm like, that's fine. It's your property. It's your castle kingdom that you have there. You don't have to have anybody stay there. If
It's
you
your
don't.
city. It's your country.
Where is this OP? Because I want to come.
Like, I'm going OP. It sounds like you have room for maybe 1-2 people.
Yeah, 3. We could do a podcast.
4.
there.
4.
Let's do an entire podcast.
I'll be the plus one.
Oh, we just gotta
Listen,
keep
how
going.
come I feel like a majority of these stories have been about proposals?
Like
this
this
next
next story?
Okay.
So I'm going to read top comment and then I'm going to read the story. So top comment to that last story. Well, I think one of your key takeaways from this is that you need to start living your life. Stop avoiding places you normally go to. Clarify to people why you broke up, not that you cheated, and put together any evidence of her crazy behavior so you can get a restraining order if needed. You also need to tell people why the wedding isn't happening at your place, as you know they're going to make you out to be the bad guy.
True.
Well, then that's where the 4 agreements is the opposite to me. I'm like, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. No, I'm not doing it. I'm okay with that. If you want to ask me, I'll tell you, but I'm not getting evidence and doing that stuff together. I'm not doing it because I know what the truth is.
I think that's fair, but I also think if somebody were to ask you and you'd be like, oh yeah, that didn't happen. This is what happened.
Yeah, I would say if anyone asked me, I would tell them.
Can't let
Yeah.
your good go even evil spoken of.
Wait, what was that?
Can't let your good go evil spoken of.
Like if people are talking negatively about you, maybe you should correct it to be like, no. I mean, not enough to like you're saying of
Crash out about it.
crash out or wasting your energy, but like if somebody came and brought it up to you of like, I can't believe what you did to like Leslie, and you're like, I didn't do that to Leslie. I did,
yeah.
you know,
like
this
maybe
and this
address it
happened.
Yeah.
if it's brought to your attention otherwise.
Am I the asshole for leaving my own birthday dinner because my girlfriend turned it into a proposal for herself?
Wait, what?
Well, like,
Unless it's like a business proposal. But
No.
If she does
It was like
it's
an actual
marriage,
proposal.
It's a marriage proposal.
God dang it, Maddie.
Okay, so
All right.
I'm furious.
I, 28 male, had my birthday dinner last weekend, and my girlfriend, Sarah, 27 female, offered to plan it. I was excited because I usually keep things low key, but she said she wanted to make it special. She booked a nice restaurant and invited close friends and family. Everything was going great until it was time for dessert. The waiter brought out a cake, but instead of my name, it said, "Will you marry me, Sarah?" I was completely blindsided.
Whoa.
Sarah got all teary-eyed and turned to me and said, "Well, this is the best surprise ever, right?" Everyone around us started clapping and her friends were filming. I just sat there stunned. She took my silence as hesitation and started going on about how she knew I wasn't big on grand gestures, but she can't wait anymore, and she said that she took matters into her own hands. At that moment, I stood up and said, "This is my birthday. If you wanted a proposal, you should have talked to me about it first." And then I grabbed my stuff and I walked out. Sarah was mortified, and her friends blew up my phone, calling me an asshole for embarrassing her and ruining the night. She even said I humiliated her when she was trying to do something romantic. Now my family is split. Some say I should have just gone along with it for the night, while others think she crossed a major boundary. So am I the asshole for leaving my own birthday dinner because my girlfriend hijacked it for a proposal?
No.
I've never heard of
you could
anything
have
like
broke up
this.
with her at a minimum.
You think it's
you're
worth
saying
breakup?
done.
Like, well, I just feel like how uncomfortable is that? And like, why are you making it about you?
Yeah.
It's definitely a big thing, but I feel like I would need to think about it first before it's like
Well,
would you
relationship
leave?
ending.
But did she write it as "Will you marry me, comma Sarah?" As in he, like
Yeah.
she's pretending that he gave her this
That's
cake.
what
Right.
makes
That's
me
a
the
little-
most mad.
That's a little bit
You think
like
it's crazy?
Crazy.
Because if she put "Will you marry me?" OP, it's still bad because you're taking over the bathroom, but you're asking him,
Right.
Not you're hijacking him and saying you're doing it to me.
Yeah, that's a little
That
bit.
is crazy.
Like that makes me question other things about like you.
Yeah.
Do you have other crazy characteristics I need to know about?
I don't know why. I think it would be worth a conversation and maybe some separation. But I feel like in my head, I mean, maybe I'm just not understanding the scope of it. I
Well,
feel like I
because
need
I
to be like,
think
I
it
really
is-
need to sit and grasp with what just happened. Like, I'm shocked. I'm reading this and I'm
Yeah.
shocked.
It's manipulation because people
Yeah.
are saying,
Yeah.
oh, the family were like, you should have just went along with it. She knows that there's a pressure in front of your friends and family to be like,
True.
to not embarrass her. So you're doing this in front of them because you're hoping like, oh yeah, I'll just say go along
Right.
with it because it would be awkward. It is very awkward to walk out. It's like takes a strong person to actually leave in that moment and I just go like,
Okay.
yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be very uncomfortable and would just go along with it. And a lot of people knowing that seems like she knew that you would be in that mindset. So she's trying to manipulate you into saying yes. And then it's even more awkward if you said yes to come back later and like, actually, she just sprung that on me. It wasn't really a yes. I just didn't want her. Like, that's even more uncomfortable.
Because then I can see
Yeah.
family being like, well, then why'd you say yes? Why?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
It's
don't
just a
win
trap
in that
either way.
situation.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that's a good way to. Yeah, so I think maybe you would need to be like, okay, we're done, because that is when you spell it out like that. Because like you're saying, he doesn't win. Either he is
can't
forced into a
win.
marriage or proposal that he doesn't want to be in, or he embarrasses her and somehow it's his fault when
Yeah.
he didn't even know about it. So
Because I think it's even I don't know if it's antiquated. I don't know where people fall on like men asking women in heterosexual
Right.
relationships. I don't know if people are firmly like the man's got to ask the women all the time. Because I do think there's a way women can ask men to get married. But it always, either way, there should be a discussion of like, hey, are we on the path to marriage? Like, don't ask someone to marry you if you don't know what the answer is going
That's
to
what
be.
I was gonna say. You have to be sure.
Yeah, people asking surprise like, "Will you marry me?" and not knowing that they're likely to say yes is crazy to me.
Yeah.
If you're like, "Hey, it's a shot in the dark," that's a bad way to propose to me, and that's basically what she did.
yeah,
Especially if I'm a woman asking a man, we better be 400% sure. Because
Right.
this goes against what commonly people do, that we're on the same page about marriage. And like, I could be the one asking you or you could be the one asking me. Because I'm doing that in private. I'm not publicly doing that.
yeah.
It just makes me think about how she went about that, like the behind the scenes. Like, did you call the restaurant and be like, hey, I want you to put on this cake or whatever? What you say it was?
Yeah,
you
it was
marry me,
will you
Sarah?
marry me, Sarah?
Will you marry me, Sarah? But then place it in front of me because I'm Sarah.
They were like, You're Sarah?
Wait, what?
You shouldn't be writing this, right?
Like, that's got to be a
Is your
little awkward.
boyfriend's name Sarah as
Well,
well? I don't get it.
I wonder if she lied and she was like, "Hi, I'm doing this for my brother. He's proposing to his girlfriend,
Oh,
Sarah."
Even more
like,
sneaky.
That's
Yeah.
super sneaky.
You know, like, can you just say, "Will you marry me, Sarah?" And then place it under, "This is what she looks like. Thanks so much," because they don't know. You know,
And I'm mad you're using the birthday. I think that's
Yeah,
the least
that is
bad
really messed up
thing,
too.
But it's
Right.
still, you really took all the credit and just put it onto you.
Yeah.
Took his day.
Took his day. You could have got 2 cakes. At least one says
yeah.
happy birthday and then the other one says will you marry?
The more I think about it,
Will you marry
One
one to
cake.
go? Just in case.
the more I think about it, the more messed up it gets because he's like, "I don't usually do anything for my
Yeah.
birthday,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'm excited. You want to celebrate me? Sure,
This is
let's
nice.
try
I've
it."
never had this.
And then
she's
it
like,
goes,
you still don't have
and
this.
she's like, "I actually had completely different intentions." So I am hijacking your birthday. I'm glad you don't care about it because it's not going to be about that day.
Yeah, and I think I'm turning around on Hannah's thing because I was like, I don't know if I would break up, but that level of manipulation, all that stuff, I'm like, do I want to be married to this person who would have this thought process to think this way? That is very
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
scary.
Because it's like, if you think about it, if it was fully planned out, you got to think about it. Okay, if it was fully planned out, yes, that's horrifying. Lock her up.
Like her.
But if it was like halfway, that's still enough for it to be still kind of scary because there's all those aspects you have to consider that they probably thought about. Either way, it's scary.
Yeah.
So top comment, I guess the gift she gave you was to show her her true colors, not the asshole. You might be dodging a bullet there. And then somebody else says, yeah, it turns out her true color is red. Red flag.
Nice. Very good commenter.
Yeah. So this went by in a breeze. Hannah, thanks for being on the podcast.
You're welcome.
How do you feel now that you've been on it? You
You know, it's pretty chill.
You ever want to get married after all these stories?
I don't know. I don't want anybody tied up into my finances.
into your what?
Finances.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I thought you were saying fantasies or
Oh,
something.
no. Like the shower.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Okay, well, we're about to go film some okay. Oh, all right. We're about to go film some Patreon stories, 2 of them this week.
Feels so good to cheat
no,
on you.
no.
I'm cheating on my girlfriend right
Thank you so
now
much,
in the
Sam.
shower.
Thank you, Hannah, for being here. Brandon,
Thank
thanks for
you.
being here. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
But like and subscribe
Like,
just for that.
subscribe.